And we are live
Hello.
with me and Travis.
I'm going to try to point. I got it the right
Yeah.
way.
Yay!
It's the simple things.
Yep. So far we got Jacob Carter in the
Hello,
chat,
Jacob.
everybody. And that's about all it showed up so far. Maybe a slow night. Doesn't matter. We'll just kind of visit and hang out and catch up on some things.
Yeah.
I've got Tex keeping my feet warm.
Were your feet cold?
No, they are not cold, but he thinks they are, so he's going to try to lay on them. He likes to be right next to me everywhere I go, pretty much. He's getting big too. I don't know if you've seen my Facebook, or Facebook had a Facebook post and a short on YouTube about. We took a picture. The picture we took of him when we first got him when we were down in Texas at Ryan's,
Uh-huh.
and then we kind of recreated that picture a month later
Yeah.
in my shop. And I weighed him also the best I could on our bathroom scale, holding him up.
Yeah.
And he's gained a little over 10 pounds. And yeah, if you have to go look at the pictures to
You have to
see the
check that
size
out.
difference.
I don't do much on Facebook.
Yeah.
I don't hardly get on there.
I've got the short deal on YouTube also, that just the pictures.
Yeah, I'll have to check it
So
out.
yeah, he's pretty well doubled in size as far as physical size, and he's gained over 10 pounds. So
How heavy is he?
almost 50.
Oh, wow.
I think like 40, 47, something like that. He's just 4 months old, almost 5 months old.
Wow. That's a huge dog. Well, hello, everybody.
We got most of the old parts and Russ and Steve Hyten and Shellman is here. Of course, Jacob is still here. Yeah. Hopefully everyone's evening and week is going well.
Yeah.
Kind of hanging out. It's actually a decent night in the shop tonight. Hope I don't have any problems with my phone getting hot on me like it has the last couple lives, but it's like just 79 degrees in the shop right now. We had some rain earlier today, so it's kind of cooled some things off, and
that's pretty good.
Yeah, not quite so miserable in here. The last 2 days, yesterday and the day before, I come in the shop after work, it was like 110 degrees in the shop.
Wow.
Yeah, it was hot.
I was in the shop. I think it was Friday. I was out there working on something, and I'm like, it just feels miserable. So I looked at my phone. The phone said the temperature was 94 degrees, but because of the humidity, the feels like temperature was 104.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's hot.
Yeah.
I got my infrared thermometer out. My Vice sitting on my table, not in the sun or anything, was 106 degrees.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got mine, and I was taking temperature readings the other day. It was actually I sent him to Richard.
Yeah, he was telling me about that.
Yeah, he's complaining about being hot, and it's like, yeah, it's kind of hot here too. And had my thermometer, and I took it. I think the ceiling, the roof was 100 and almost 130. My table was 105 or 6. Yeah, it was. Everything's
Sounds like
just
about
hot.
the same as ours.
Yeah, that radiant heat is a killer in here. But hopefully one of these days I'll get some insulation up and maybe knock some of that down.
Yeah, I actually found a product. It's called Kraken.
I've seen that. I looked into that, and
it's the most affordable way to buy spray foam that I've found, unless you buy a 55-gallon drum.
Yeah.
if you buy the
Yeah.
55-gallon drums and you have the equipment to spray it, it's that's the most affordable way to do it. But
Yeah.
as far as small batches, that Kraken seems like it's the most affordable that I've found.
Yeah, and I looked into that because it showed up on, I think, my Facebook feed, and I looked into it, and that's one of those things where, yeah, you could just do small bits at a time if you needed to.
Yeah,
Uh,
buy a couple cans and do what it does, and
yeah,
then do a little more the next time.
yeah. Let's see. Duster's finally ready to come out of the garage for the first time this year.
Awesome.
He has to clean out a path to the door. Got it blocked in. Yeah, Shelman said he's stuck at home with third-degree sunburn on his shoulder. Well,
How did you only get a third-degree sunburn on your shoulder?
must have been out floating or something on the river.
Probably.
Yeah, it's hot. But on the plus side of working in this heat, when I'm at work, and of course we're in a production plant, so we don't have the sun, and we really don't have any radiant heat because it's a 2-story building, and I'm usually on the bottom floor. Our shop it's kind of air conditioned, so our shop where I work out of is decent temperature most of the day. There are some places in the plant that are really hot and humid, but for the most part, it's not too bad, at least to me, because I'm used to working in 100 and some degrees in my shop with radiant heat off the ceiling.
Yeah.
So when I'm at work, everybody else is like sweating and complaining about being hot. I'm like, yeah, you guys have no idea. I'm
nice
fine.
Too. You spend an hour or two in the shop and then go outside, and even though it's 95 degrees outside, it still feels nice and cool outside.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yep. Shellman went to the river.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't take long, especially with that sun out. It can only take just 20 minutes to get a bad burn.
Yes. So Patrick's saying he's about ready to get the duster out for the first time this year. I think if everything goes well, we're going to be ready to get extra parts out of the garage hopefully Friday.
Awesome.
Hopefully. I got a lot to do, but I think it's
Yeah.
doable. I've got to go get my sister and her daughter and my niece. My niece is headed back to college in Kentucky, so we got to go pick her up from the airport tomorrow, and then hopefully between tomorrow before that and after that and Thursday, I've just got a few things left to do, and I should be ready to maybe. It's supposed to rain here Friday, so no promises, but hopefully if everything goes well, maybe we can get to the track Friday night and try and make a couple of passes and put some laps on that thing. Hopefully,
I'm hoping to do the same thing this Friday. The weather here's been off and on rain, which I'm not going to complain because we really need the rain. If we could get any rain in August around here, we're happy. I think we've probably got a couple. Well, more than a couple inches in the last week, so it's been nice.
Nice.
But I'm hoping to get Squeaky to the track this Friday and make the passes and actually turn the bottle on and get some nitrous passes on the big block because we're getting close on this thing. It looks complete-ish, but it's a lot of mock-up right now. But it's not just mock-up for to make me happier, give me incentive. This is actual mock-up of making sure that all the accessories are going to line up because I got different pulleys. I had to modify my alternator bracket because it wouldn't work with the intake. Had to do some modifications to the power steering pump brackets to get everything to line up. So that's what I got going on here.
Is that not the accessories you ran on the 305 before?
No. Well, it's the same power steering pump. But that's about it. The pulleys are underdrive aluminum pulleys. I've got an underdriven pulley on the alternator. The alternator bracket, like I said, it wouldn't the original one wouldn't work, so I had to find another one and modify it. And the power steering pump, because it's got a different water pump on it, and the power steering pump mounts to the water pump, and I had to make that all work. But wasn't a bunch of stuff. It's just kind of little things. But I wanted to do that while I had the heads and intake on, doing some mock up with them, because I gotta make sure the intake and heads, I'm gonna drill and pin the intake and the heads together with the gaskets where I want them, just so I have locating pins. I mean, the pins won't stay in or be there when I set the intake on. They're just for whenever I put everything back together, it's going to go back together exactly the way it is now, and all the gasket matching and all that stuff will line up.
Yeah.
I'll set the intake on, put the pins in, and then bolt it down. And so I thought, well, I got the heads on. I want to make sure all this brackets and stuff work, because I don't want to have to do that while it's in the truck.
Yeah, no.
So, yeah. Shellman says Hutch is where he works at, and he's a welder. It's they make slider frames for big truck trailers. The frames that go underneath the big truck trailers, that the axles and everything bolt to, that slide back and forth. He builds the sliders. I used to work at the same place. Oh shoot, been 10, 15 years ago, and this time of year at that place, it's hot. It's usually around, he says 105 and 80% humidity, and that's about right. I remember back on when I worked there, I worked on night shift, and it would still be 120, 130 degrees in there in some places where we're welding, which, it doesn't matter how cold the air is or what the temperature around you is. You're held up to a welder. When we were pushing 300, 350 amps, we were welding some heavy stuff in my department, and it would literally cook the shirt right off of you.
Wow. I probably worked on some Hutch suspensions that you built when I had my mechanic shop.
Possibly, yeah.
There's no way I'm getting it out Thursday. I got too much to do before Thursday. I'm hoping. I don't know if it's gonna happen. I got wrapped up with some other stuff today and didn't get anything done today. I did get my yard mowed though, so that's a bonus. But I was hoping to get the gears put in it today, but it didn't happen. So I'm probably not going to make it, if I'm being honest with myself, on Friday, but I'm still hopeful.
Yeah, you can always make plans, I guess. But yeah, and this kind of goes along with my next video. I still got to put it together, but it kind of goes along with this post here about, and what I was just talking about, having to make stuff fit, because pretty much everything's different on this engine. It's not the same stuff. Different balancer, different water pump, different pulleys, different brackets. So sometimes my water pump wouldn't even fit around the timing cover, because it's an aftermarket aluminum timing cover.
Yeah.
So the next video is just going to be, just sometimes not everything works together. You got to use your brain a little bit and figure it out. Don't, I've seen it on Facebook where it was like, well, I bought this and it don't fit worth a crap. It's like, well,
everything fits nothing.
Yeah. I mean, is it because it's really that crappy, or you've got other stuff going on is the reason why it doesn't fit? Now, if I had the factory stamped steel timing cover, the water pump would have fit just fine. It wouldn't have been no problem. It's not like I had to take a bunch of meat out. It was just a little bit of clearancing on the water pump, or I could have
You
taken
already
off the
put that
timing
video
cover.
out, didn't you? Clearance in the water pump for the timing cover.
Did I?
I've seen it.
Oh, maybe I did. I've
Unless
put
unless
out.
we're
I put
so
out.
in tune, I dreamed you clearancing the water pump for the timing cover. I'm pretty sure I saw that video already.
Oh yes, yeah. That was my last video. So that was my last video. If you want to go watch it, that was my last video I had out. Thank you, Travis, because
You're welcome.
I've actually been pushing myself to try to get several videos out, just to try to get this thing moving along and
Yeah.
try to get as much content out of this thing as I can. And with that, I've been like 3 videos ahead. I've had a whole week's worth of videos already scheduled, ready to go on YouTube. And the last 2 weeks I've done that. And so I kind of lost track of where I was at. My next video is, it's going to be on Cream Puff, because he gave me some issues. He gets jealous when I start working on this thing. So then my daily driver, Cream Puff, he starts acting up, and he's got to have a little attention. So that's what I did yesterday. That's going to be my next video that I've still got to work on. So
Saturday I have other plans. we're we're taking the Ram Charger back out on Saturday.
Oh yeah.
That place is really only open on Saturdays and Sundays, and this Sunday, Amber and I's anniversary is actually Thursday, so we're gonna celebrate our anniversary and go somewhere on Sunday. So, but Saturday we're gonna take the Ram Charger back out, but this time we're leaving the Jeep behind, and we're just gonna go out there and I don't know. I'm gonna take a come along and a couple of chains.
Yeah.
It's not a huge walk, so I've never been to that place before. But where we can park the truck and the trailer is kind of centrally located, and the whole area is all around it. So the whole time we were out, we were never more than probably it might be a hike, like probably 30-45 minute hike, but it's not impossible to get back. So we're just gonna take her Jeep and park it next to the truck down there by the little house where you check in. And then if we get in trouble and we have to walk out, we can walk out, and then hopefully we can get the Ram Charger out eventually. Or maybe it'll just become part of the obstacle course. I don't know. It doesn't get muddy there. So aside from breaking something or getting down something and we can't get back, I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I have no experience with this. We're just gonna go until we can't go anymore, then try to turn around and get back to the trailer.
Yep. Tex gotta say hi to Ugly Truck. Hi, Tex. Hi, Ugly Truck.
He's like, I don't understand what we're doing here.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Way to put him on the spot.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say it's getting close.
So
it's this year.
So Amber's dad hooked me up for our wedding gift. He made us a plaque with our anniversary on the plaque, and then Amber hung it up. So, yeah.
Oh my. Yeah, and now my bad memory is like I've got 20 different dates in my head. It's in August, I think.
Hey, so
yeah,
Amber had asked another question here, and I just want to address it quickly.
Yeah.
Oh no! One more comment down from her, where she says, "What's our dating anniversary? Our dating anniversary is irrelevant because we got married."
Yes.
but it's May 5th.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Next question, please. Yeah. Good, good comment there, Amber. You got to get better shots this time. Yeah, that's trying to every time you go out, get better quality video or wheel a little bit harder. Try some stuff you didn't try the last time, and that's how my rock crawler ended up being the way it is because every time I went out, I was like, oh, if I just had this,
Yeah.
I can make that.
Well, that's another thing that I have to do before Saturday is I got to change the shocks on the Ram Charger. And then I was talking to Richard. I think since we're trailering it, I'm just going to disconnect the sway bar and tie it up to the frame.
Yeah, sway bar disconnect would be a big help for articulation.
Easy. It's pretty easy on that. It's got the end links just have two bolts that go into the sway bar. It's pretty easy to get to, so I'll just pull the bolts out of it and tie it up to the frame so it's not in the way.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't feel so bad. Emily and Jerry both forgot their anniversary. Jacob with Busky Grill is here.
Hello, Jacob.
Okay, so you guys can think whatever you want to think by my next statement, but August 10th is the date I had in my head, but I didn't want to say it.
Better to not answer than get it wrong.
Yes, I feel I'd rather look stupid than be wrong. I'm used to looking stupid, and I'm used to being wrong too. But
oh,
yeah, it's coming up quick.
Yeah, not very long at all.
We'll have to plan something.
Yeah. So we agreed when we got married that we weren't gonna waste money on gifts. If we we're gonna do anything, we're just gonna and kind of by accident, our thing has become waterfalls. Every year we find a different waterfall and just go do something around the waterfall, and then go take a picture in front of the waterfall. And it, like I said, it was just an accident. The first year we went to a place up in Tennessee. It's like a cabin resort area place. It was really nice, and we went for a walk the next morning, and they had this beautiful waterfall. We took a picture, and then since then we've found a waterfall every year when we do our little trip and take a picture in front of a waterfall. And then like last year, Evans Mill is what it was. That's right. Last year, our whole trip was just about going to a waterfall, and I think we're doing pretty much the same thing this year. We're just going to go find a waterfall and go enjoy the day. Just have fun.
Yeah. So things are starting to click in my little brain. Because Mrs. Squarebody was mentioning the other night, or a few days ago, I guess, about taking a trip in the next few weeks to, now I can't remember the name of the place, but we've been there quite a bit in our relationship and everything. And so that's why she was mentioning going there, because it's going to be our anniversary.
There you go.
At least that's what I think. That's what's going on in my head right now. I may be completely wrong on that, but
Cumberland Falls sounds very familiar, but I've never been there. I've probably driven past it. I drove all over Kentucky when I was driving truck. I don't recall that one. I know we haven't been to a waterfall in Kentucky. We haven't ventured that far out yet.
Yeah. I think she was talking about going to Echo Falls. Echo Bluff in Missouri.
Okay.
It's about an hour and a half away from here because we got we got a lot of nice rivers and streams and government land and stuff. Some national parks that are right in our backyard that sometimes take for granted. But I
Yes.
think that's where she's wanting to go.
I'm going to step out on you for just a second.
Okay. Main Tex will keep everybody occupied. He's been pestering me now. He's not laying on. Earlier, he just laying on my feet, and that was fine. But now he's pestering me. Now he got a little bit of the limelight. He's wanting to be more part of it, I guess. He keeps bumping the table. Say hi. Well, now you're being camera shy.
I'm back.
Back. Tex kept everyone entertained for while you're gone. Oh,
I've also been looking at other old Dodge trucks. There's a couple of cool ones up by you, Chad.
did you see the Warlock that was up by me?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I seen that. I almost sent you the link. I thought, I don't know. I was
So I
pretty bad
guess
in.
what got me started on this kick is I can't get the guy to answer me back, but not too far from me there is a 75 short bed step side Dodge pickup that is buried in weeds, and the guy wants to sell it. You can either buy the bed or the whole truck for
Yeah.
$500. And I'm
Oh,
thinking
wow.
there a short bed step side bed would look really cool on a shortened extra parts. But I
Yes.
can't get the guy to answer me back. So
Oh,
then I just started searching a little bit further away, and I found there's a bunch of them up by you. I found 3 or 4 nice trucks up by you. And then, you never end up in the where you started when you start searching for stuff. I found
yeah.
a really nice 69 short bed step side Dodge pickup in down by Pensacola, Florida. It looks really nice. But I'm not buying any more projects. I don't need any more projects.
Yeah. I'm the same way. Tech is not going to drive the square body. And as bad as I want him to ride with me or go to town with me or, be my shotgun rider sometimes, I don't want him getting used to every time I get in a vehicle that he wants to go with me. His job, his lot in life is to protect the farm and be our guardian dog for our property and be my buddy, just hang out. But so I don't want him to be, wanting to go with us all the time because that's not, if he's with us, then he's not protecting the place while we're gone. So
Yeah.
I haven't really given him any rides because that's not where I want to go with him. Yeah, a constant stream of text. Yeah, his favorite place to lay down is either underneath our Ram or underneath the Turtle. Well, except for the last couple days or this last day, he's getting big enough where he's getting stuck underneath the Turtle.
I was just gonna ask how he gets under the Turtle.
Well, he's kind of got it wallered out a little bit, but he's getting too big. And the other day, I thought he was stuck under it because I was like, "Come on, come on!" He just like his hips were kind of underneath the cross member. And it's like he was trying to move, but he couldn't move. So I kind of rolled it off of him, and he got out. I don't know if he's really actually stuck or not, but for sure today is the first day I really noticed him. But he's laying in the floorboard of the Turtle now.
Oh,
And yeah, he just gets up and lays in the floorboard. So, but he stays. I mean, it's the turtle's parked underneath our carport with the ram and everything right in the front porch. So he stays right there at the house. That's his spot. He knows his spot, and he's yeah, I'm really impressed with how he's turned out with being young, and he don't try to wander off. He stays around the house, and
That's
if
good.
I'm outside, he's usually pretty close. And now he's taking advantage of the fan.
You found the cool spot in the shop.
Yeah, yeah. But if I'm out here working in the shop, he'll find it either sit in front of the fan or sit in the corner where the toolbox and my file cabinets are, so he's out of the way. Uh, he usually stays out of the way for the most part. And I was afraid, the loud noises and all that stuff. He'd be scared of it, but nothing really bothers him. He just hangs out and enjoys the show, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amber's husky every morning. He's like, all right, let's go.
Yep. Yep. They learn quick,
They
and
do.
that's why I thought I thought about just putting him in the truck with me when I go out to check the cow or to go out in the field to do something. No, I'm not going to start that because I just don't want him to start following me.
That's what I was
If
going
I'm
to say. You
leaving,
start taking him around the property when you leave in the truck. He thinks that he could get to go, and then he might be chasing
yeah,
you down the road.
yeah, and I don't want that. He's only tried that a couple times. He started head down the driveway. But he's really lazy too. So he'll only go so far. He's like, yeah, I'm not going to catch him. I give up. He goes back to the house. But yeah, he's good to have around though. I've been missing having a dog around,
Yeah.
and he's been the perfect fit to fill that void in my life. No, we're not. I'm not taking a trip to do it. It's actually going to be happening in my shop. Uh, Brad with Benco Designs, he's bringing his truck, Big Booty Judy, to my shop. It'll be the 20. I think he'll be here the 24th of August, and it'll be that weekend. And luckily, he's already got a few of the things that was on the list to do to the truck. He's already got those done. So we still got a pretty big project on our hands to get it done. So I'm hoping everybody that says they was going to try to show up does show up. It's going to be hot in here. I don't think I'm going to have time to get any insulation in the shop. I was wanting to do that, but I don't know if it's going to happen. So I just figured everyone's going to have one chance to complain about the heat. After that, anybody that complains about the heat is going to be working in their underwear.
All those YouTube videos will be demonetized.
Yeah, we'll have to be careful with that. Yeah, I plan on trying to video most of it. Not really sure how it's going to play out. It's going to be, I don't know. Never done anything like this, so it's going to be interesting. The first thing is, I guess I could kind of say what we're going to be doing to the truck is gear vendors overdrive. It's a 2-wheel drive crew cab 1-ton. I think it's an 86 square body. 454. It's SM 465 4-speed, so it's got granny low 4-speed like Squeaky's got in my crew cab. He's wanting to put a gear vendors overdrive in it, so we got a drive shaft deal to figure out. Me and him are going back and forth on trying to get some measurements, and hopefully I have a drive shaft here, which is still kind of a sketchy move, have a drive shaft here that I could already have shortened and ready to go, and hope that it's
Well, I think based on the messages that I've seen, you're on the right track with getting all the measurements.
Yeah, and it should be the same U joint, same slip joint, and everything as the drive shaft I have. I think I have, and that's the other thing is I got to double check and make sure I've got what I think I had, and I haven't already used it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
so
as far
we've
as
got
that
the
goes, your oh no, your crew cab is a 4-wheel drive. That won't work. Never mind.
yeah. Well, what I'm thinking is I need to measure. I think the 4-wheel drive, the primary or the first shaft is shorter than what his is going to be.
Yeah.
But I was thinking that maybe his, yeah, it's going to be way shorter because I think he gave me the measurements on uh, how long the overdrive unit is from the flange to the yoke. And I think that's quite a bit shorter than the transfer case and the carrier, marriage carrier in between transfer case and transmission on mine. So I might not even have a shaft long enough
Yeah.
that I could just cut down. So we may have to use cut his down. All else fails, usually the guy I take my drive shaft to have done. Usually he's got a really quick turnaround. If I show up in the morning and he's not busy, I just hang around town for an hour or two and he'll have it done.
Nice.
So I think I probably need to give him a call and tell him what we got going on, see if we can maybe kind of tentatively schedule something. But he's wanting to do the gear vendors. He's wanting to do the sniper fuel injection setup on it. Headers, full exhaust, which he's got.
Is it a kit or is it build an exhaust?
It's a kit, but I'm not sure how universal it is. I don't think it's a specific kit, but hopefully it's universal enough that we can make it work here. And there was the digital dash. He's wanting to put a grill in, but he's already got the grill and some other stuff, cosmetic stuff done with it. But our plans is I've got it scheduled already with the hub dyno guys. When he gets down here, we're going to take it to the hub dyno and dyno it beforehand, do all the work to it, and we won't be able to probably hub dyno it again that weekend. But he's going to be back in Missouri, I think it's September 9th, for the C10 cruising show in Springfield, Missouri, that we're going to be going to, and the hub dyno is going to be there. So he's going to do the after thing, and in that time, the sniper setup will have time to self-learn and maybe work some bugs out of it and everything. So he'll get a dyno run after the fact to see if it's gained any horsepower or whatever.
Did you see Steve's comment?
Yeah, I'm going to go back up a couple. Yeah. Well, I don't think I would like to have the 339 in squeaky before then. I don't think it's going to happen. If I really, really, really just push myself, I probably could. But I also have I want to get this thing on the engine dyno to see what it makes at the crank before I put it in the truck and take it to the hub dyno and really get it dialed in. And that way I can kind of see what my drivetrain,
losses,
what horsepower it takes to run my drivetrain. And that'll give me a better idea exactly how much the big block makes at the crank. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm the 339 is top priority right now, except for when Cream Puff decides to act up a little bit, and I've got to take care of him. But and whatever else comes up. But I've been pushing myself to get stuff done on the 339. I mean, really, if I wasn't being picky, it's actually the head. I just need to put a couple of springs back in there, a couple of valves back in, and bolt everything up, and it's ready to start. But there's some stuff I want to do to the head, and change out valve springs, clean up the intake, port matches, do some stuff. But I'm going to hopefully get that done this week. But then next week, I'm going to be working a bunch of overtime at work next week because we have a down week twice a year at our work. So they shut production down, and it's the maintenance works overtime to do a bunch of upkeep and maintenance on our equipment that we can't do during production. Major overhauls on some equipment.
Yeah.
So next week is going to be busy for me at work. So I'm doing the best I can on it. But yeah, the Big Booty Judy thing, that's been scheduled for quite a while, and we're gonna get that thing done.
I say Hemi swap the world.
Yeah, I'm almost to the point. I'd rather Hemi swap everything than LS swap everything. And nothing against the LS platform. It's a great platform. It's great. I mean, it's the next best thing since the small block Chevy, the Gen 1 small block Chevy, but it's just so much of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what happens when you have an easy recipe for a fast hot rod.
Yeah.
Everybody does it.
And I get it. I totally get it. I'll give people grief about it and all that stuff. And I'm never going to say I will never do it because, it would be fun at a point, but I'm not ready to do that yet. It's just so common nowadays that, but yeah, you can make a lot of horsepower really, really easily with that platform. Same thing with the Hemis. The Hemis they're no joke. I really like our Hemi, in that truck. It's, all stock except for the exhaust, but yeah, it's a beast.
I think that the technology in the new V8s is so far above and beyond all the stuff that we all grew up hot rodding.
Yeah.
But it's also the downfall of them in that it's so hard to, like, there's a lot of it that you can do yourself, but there's still some parts of that most people it's beyond their ability to do a Hemi swap.
Yeah.
Because you still have to have, or an LS swap, you're still relying on somebody to write a computer program to be able to run it.
Exactly.
And I just that to me is part of the turnoff with doing the late model V8 swap is you're at the mercy of somebody else doing their job right, and you have no control over if it breaks down. Like if you put it in there and your computer goes bad, it's not something you can run to the parts store and get another computer because it has to be sent off to have a custom tune put in it to be able to work in that platform unless you transfer everything, all the security and everything with it, and that's just not reasonable.
Yeah, and that's why I've pretty much made up my mind if I ever do an LS swap or swap out to a more modern platform, I'm going to go aftermarket computer. I'm going to go with the Holley Dominator, Terminator, whichever one, and not even worry about the factory ECM. Just go aftermarket right off the bat. I think you've got more room to grow after that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's pros and cons to all of it.
Yes.
It's like this 339 is more cubic inches than the 5.3 LS. It's a little bit longer stroke, a little bit bigger bore. So, and I've kind of shut some people up on the comment about the 305 has too small of a bore to make any horsepower. It's like, well, what's the bore with 53 LS? It's not the bore size. It is the head. The
Heads,
heads
yeah.
are the drawback as far as making power. Now, the actual structural part of it, the LS block is, it's got more bolts for the main cap. It's
Is
a better
LS
structure.
a deep skirted mains like a Y block, like the
Yeah.
Hemi is with the cross bolted
Yeah.
mains and everything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got more structural integrity. The internal parts from the factory are stronger than a standard, small block Chevy, the old school stuff. But the main thing is the cylinder head. The cylinder heads just, unless you spend a lot of money on some really big heads or nice heads for an old school small block Chevy, you're not going to make the power. That's where the LS really shines. It's mainly the cylinder heads. It's not the displacement.
So
And and I've got a lot more money wrapped up in this to make hopefully 400 horsepower at the crank than I would if I would have just pulled a LS that's in a Tahoe sitting out in my field of dreams of my son's
yeah,
and bought that from him. And obviously if I would just built one of the big blocks I had, I'd been more horsepower ahead per dollar. But we're just trying to have fun. And
so Patrick, a couple comments back, said that LS heads aren't really that great. The Hemi head is much better. That's what I was getting ready to. You were talking about how much better the heads were.
yeah,
Stock Eagle Hemi heads, which is what's on your truck, those out of the box stock flow better than a $3,000 set of heads for my 440.
Yeah.
And that's
but the LS heads compared to old school small block Chevy heads are way better. The valve spacing, there's different things to it, but compared to the Hemi heads, no,
well, I would bet that the stock LS heads probably flow better than a $3,000 set of heads for my big block Chrysler.
Yeah.
So and that's the I'll probably get lots of hate for this, but that's one of the downfalls of building a big block Chrysler is there's just not a really, really good affordable. There are really good heads, but in an affordable price range, there's not a really good head for a big block Chrysler that I've found.
Yeah, you got all them cubic inches, but you can't get no flow.
Yeah, I think it was Freiberger on an Engine Master episode was talking about a big cubic inch small block, or it's basically a big cubic inch small block Chevy head. Like trying to feed a big block Chevy through a small block Chevy head, something like that.
Yep. Yeah, because that's the thing is the big block Mopar heads don't really flow much more than a good small block Chevy head.
I'm pretty sure that the heads that are on that 406 that's in Richard's 55 or 56 Chevy outflow even the good big block Chevy heads that you can buy, but it's 406 cubic inch, so it's getting close to big block cubic inches, stock anyway. But those heads are, and they were expensive. It's got Brodix Track 1 aluminum heads on it, but
and this comment here, I watch a lot of Richard Holdner stuff, and that's the biggest drawback for a 305 Chevy to make any power is the shrouding of the valves. You can't run big heads unless you do some extra work, and it's still not the best. On this block, if you watch, I've relieved the block itself to unshroud the valves because everyone says, well, you can't run 202 160 valves in a 305. You can, and but you got to do some extra work to make it work better. It's still not going to be as good as an LS cylinder head. But and the other thing is with this one, I want to, it's going to be a very streetable engine, but it's also going to be able to handle as much nitrous as I really want to put to it, or boost if I want to put a whirlybird thing on there.
Yeah.
So that was my main focus on this. Is it's structurally sound enough to handle around 800 horsepower with all the parts and stuff I put in there, but it's not going to make that naturally aspirated. But being a power adder, if you're going to add nitrous or boost, whatever, then the cylinder heads, they help. But if you need more horsepower, just add more nitrous or add more boost. Your bottom end's just got to be able to handle it.
Yes.
And your heads aren't as much of a factor in building horsepower with a boosted or power adder application.
So reading back to Patrick's comment about they are way better than his very expensive. What heads? I don't remember. I didn't see when that came in. What we were talking about at that time do they make a really good big block Chrysler head that's somewhat affordable, or? Yeah, I'm kind of surprised First Responder Garage doesn't watch Richard Holdener.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean Richard Holder's personality. I'll just be honest. I kind of got to look past just him and his personality. Not that he's not anything really wrong with it. It's just I don't know. His voice is kind of gets me, and way he just the way he is. But he has a lot of good information, and it's most of his real world stuff that applies to real world things, not just let's just see if how much we can make, or let's just make as much horsepower as we possibly can, looking for that top number. He usually tries to look over the whole situation and explain that.
I'll bet Patrick's TA heads outflow my big block heads hands down because they're not good ones. They're the probably, as far as flow goes, about the worst ones.
Hey, Richard Pratt's here. Big Richard. He really doesn't know. Not sure who he's referring to there. Oh, he doesn't know Mopar? I don't know.
I think Mopar is mostly old parts and rust.
Oh.
I'm going to screw this up because I can never remember the casting number. It's the small chamber, small port, small valve heads, but it's got the bigger valves in it. 516s, I think. I think they're 516 castings. And then I just did a mild cleanup on the ports. Nothing fancy, just kind of smoothed them out. Took a little bit of the pushrod print out. I was going to try to do the Mopar porting templates, but when I saw how much I was going to have to cut out of those cast iron heads, I didn't. I cut the bowls out a little bit and just smoothed the roughness out and got rid of the worst of it, but they aren't very well ported. They're just a little bit smoother than stock. But it runs, and that's what I was going for. Yeah. I wasn't trying to get the maximum horsepower out of the combination. I was trying to make the parts I had make noise and make exhaust, and it does that. So
it breaks things.
Yeah, it breaks things. It's got enough power to break U-joints, so that's good enough, I guess. or at least
Oh,
it has enough power to make the rear end lose control and break the U joints.
yeah, it has enough inertia.
Yeah.
And there's the link to the after hours. We'll be starting that up here in it'll be about 10 minutes. We'll take about a 5-minute break in between shows.
Yeah, they're not. But they are what they are. They were
Yeah.
they were on the floor in my garage, and they had all the parts to put them together. Actually, I guess they didn't because I had to steal valves out of something else, and by doing that, I ended up having to have the exhaust seats cut big enough to use the bigger exhaust valves that are in the later heads. So it's got the whatever the what is it the not I think it's 906s and later had bigger exhaust valves than the early ones, and what uh, that's what I used in those heads. I asked the question.
Hmm. TP.
I don't know. Not me. He didn't ask me anything because
Yeah.
I definitely don't know the answer.
uh, kind of like you were saying, Travis. Uh, well, maybe not like you were saying, but to go along with what you were saying is the heads you had were decent and they worked for your application.
Yep.
You know, they're better than nothing. They're better than some heads. You
It
know,
runs better with them than it does with no heads, for sure.
and that's one thing I like to get out there is, not everybody can afford $3,000 set of heads for the engine, and sometimes you don't need that to have the fun you're wanting to have or
Yes.
whatever level you're at. I mean, people get so hung up on having to have what everyone else has, and sometimes those big cylinder heads aren't what you need for your application. These cylinder heads on this little 339 with the camshaft I've got. I haven't done mathematical equations and stuff that's out there to figure it out perfectly, but uh, just going off basic knowledge of these heads and my camshaft, uh, they're going to work really well together. I
Yeah.
don't think that this camshaft will benefit from heads that's much bigger. And if I went to a bigger camshaft, um, the heads might support a bigger camshaft, but my RPM window is going to get narrow and higher, and
Yes.
I don't really want that because of the heavy truck. I want more of a broader power range,
Well, and you're
and
leaving on a manual transmission, so you can't, especially with a stock type clutch, you can't. You have to have something down low. You'll never get the truck off the line.
yeah, yeah, and in between gear shifts, especially with the ratios in this transmission, I've got to have something in the mid range
Yeah.
to catch me back up whenever I hit third gear, because from second to third is such a big jump. No, yeah, I'd be better off with an automatic in there, I know, but that's not where I'm going with this. But
Yeah.
I've got a certain thing I'm wanting to do, so I'm trying to make everything work together with a combination that really isn't intended for what I'm doing. But uh, if you kind of plan stuff out, and if I had a bigger budget, yeah, I could probably do better with it. But for my budget, what I've got, I'm trying to plan everything together where it works better together. I don't want
Yep.
to. I don't want a real peaky high revving small block in this heavy truck with the wide ratio transmission. It's just going to kill it.
Yeah. That's and like Patrick said a couple comments back about the cost to redo a set of stock heads or a set of iron heads. He'd just do aluminum. If I didn't have everything I needed to put those heads together, I'd have never put them together, because what it would cost to buy, and now I've bought valves, so now I'm kind of kicking myself because I did it a little at a time. I didn't have to go all out but the cost to really freshen a set of iron heads, if you're going to spend that, it's almost better to buy a cheap set of aluminum heads. But then you see where everybody says, well, you got to completely go through aluminum heads if you buy the cheap ones before you can use them too. So I don't know. I say bolt on what you've got and take it to the track.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I guess what we can do is we'll continue this conversation here in about 5 minutes. We'll regroup. Maybe let the people come in on the live. Yes, I will agree with that statement any time of day, because flow bench numbers don't always translate to higher horsepower on the dyno. Everything's got to be matched. If there's, there's more to it than just numbers on a flow bench, because the flow bench is not a direct, my personal opinion on it, it's not a direct reflection of what an engine's actually doing while it's running at whatever RPM. It does give you an idea what the head is capable of flowing, but there's a trade-off. And I think most good engine builders or head porters will tell you just that. Not that I'm one of those. I'm not. I'm just a backwoods hack that likes to have fun with this stuff. But anyways, we'll leave on that note. We could pick right back up in about 5 minutes. Everybody come back in and join. Let me see if I can find that link again. There it is. Everybody click on that, copy it, and paste it. And we'll be back in just a few minutes.
All right, see you guys in a bit. Thanks, everybody, for stopping by.
Thanks for joining in, and we'll see you in just a few minutes.